Don't worry guys, I'm still trying to get used to this camera angle too. Hey guys, Taylor here. Today I'm going to be talking about what it's like and what happens when I go into my own world. I'm also going to be talking about when I slip into my own world, where I slip into my own world, why, how long, general overall questions like that. Alrighty guys, with all that being said, let's go ahead and start talking. I really don't know how well known this fact is, but generally almost all people with autism and Asperger's syndrome generally slip into their own world when things get rough or if they get really overwhelmed, or maybe after they've just had an oversensory meltdown. I am one of those people. I mean, yeah, I have Asperger's syndrome, but I still struggle with some of the things that almost all people on the spectrum struggle with. You know, with the sensory issues and the adjustments and just overall stuff like that that could trigger me and lead me into an oversensory meltdown. And one of those things happens to be slipping into my own world without me knowing it. I know most of you guys are probably going, well, what does that mean exactly? I don't understand it. I don't get what you're saying. Don't worry, because right now, I'm going to explain it. When I go into my own world, it's like separating my inner self from the reality, which is the world that we currently are breathing and living in, into the imaginary, which is my own world where everything is made up in my head. I have imaginary friends there, and I am just in a happy place. And believe it or not, I do kind of have a movie reference to kind of help you guys understand a little bit. Have you guys ever seen the live action Mike Myers version of The Cat in the Hat? And I remember this very vividly, even though I have not seen this movie in forever. I think it's been at least 10 years since I've seen this movie. But there's this scene where Conrad is about to open this crate and the cat is telling him no. And he says, it's a quote that's kind of like, it's on those similar lines like, this crate is actually a transporter, which means it can actually transport us from this world to my world. And then in the movie, the crate is open and then everything starts just going around everywhere and the living room and the house start transforming into this different world of some sort. Well, it's like the same thing for us, except our world isn't the mother of all messes. And right now, I'm about to perform a magic trick for you guys. Taking the reference that I just gave you and connecting that to what we on the spectrum go through when we go into our own world. No, and now that I think about it, I don't really think I can explain this with just words. I think I need some visual to help you guys understand. And also, I can't remember the last time we took a little field trip to the dry erase board of Insay. So, let us go ahead and take a field trip to the dry erase board of Insay. Let's go. So, keeping into the movie reference, let's say there's this crate inside of our brains, and we're going to call this crate, I could call it something creative, but that's not the purpose of this. My purpose is to educate. We're going to call it my world. Okay, so I have all these things that trigger me, and the crate, it's still not fully open. It's getting there, but it's not fully open. It's like 90% there. You're probably thinking, what will open the crate? Sensory overload or meltdown? So that is going into my head and into this crate. Then all of a sudden, when I'm least expecting it, kaboom! The crate is open. And out comes all this stuff that is in my own world, which then leads me from going from this world, taking that door and slipping my stuff away without knowing it, whoop, whoop, into my world, right here. So I'm in my own world. So hopefully now you guys kind of have a little bit of an idea of what it's like to go into my own world with the movie reference that I used. Now I'm going to get into the questions. You know, how long do I stay in my own world? Why I slip into my own world? When? Where? You know, stuff like that. Where I slip into my own world really depends on when I slip into my own world. It could be at the store, it could be at school, it could be here in my bedroom. I try to keep it out of the public, so about 95% of the time I slip into my own world right here in my bedroom. And with the fact that I go into my own world in my room makes me feel a little bit more safe and secure when I'm slipping into my own world. it's a personal thing. You know, some people with Asperger's syndrome or autism may allow other people to go into their world with them to see what it's like. I'm one of those people on the spectrum that kind of doesn't, because I've been made fun of it for so long. I just decided to shut everybody out when it comes to going into my own world and just go in there by myself. And I found that to be a lot more helpful for me, just to calm down and to vent. It's kind of tough for me to really pinpoint for you guys when I slip into my own world, because it happens 85 to 90% of the time. So I'm not really able to give you guys a little pinpoint of when, like the day of the week, the date, or the time where I slip into my own world. I just can't do that because it happens so much. But usually when I do, it's basically in the evening. Most of the time it's in the evening when I'm at home. When I got back from volunteering, I usually slip into my own world then. And how long I stay there, again, it varies. It really does vary between 1 hour, 1 day, or sometimes 1 week. I've never gone 1 full month with going into my own world. I don't think I remember being in my own world for an entire month. I think the latest that I've stayed in my own world was probably 2 weeks that I remember. You know what? I think I should kind of keep track of how long I stay in my own world. I should probably keep track of that for you guys. But when it comes to slipping into my own world every single day, it's usually for a few hours, and then I go back to reality. I go back to the regular world and everything's okay. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, okay, well, do you give your mom and your dad any warning signals? Like, do you send them a signal that lets them know that you're slipping into your own world? The answer to that is no, I do not. Slipping into my own world is almost as natural as waking up in the morning. That's how natural and how unknowingly I slip into my own world. When I'm really tensed up and when I'm really stressed out, and if I just had an oversensory meltdown and if I'm still shaking up, I need some form of escape. So I allow myself to mentally escape from the reality and start going into the imaginary, my own world. And it is so super easy to do that when I'm rattled up and when I'm really tensed up. When I go into my own world, I feel a sense of peace, and I'm able to just spend a lot of time in my own world just to calm down, to recuperate, to pull myself together, to vent, to cry if necessary. And after some time of being in my own world, I feel completely better. I feel recuperated, I feel calm, I feel peace, I feel comforted, and I allow myself to go back into the reality, which is the current world that we are living in, the world that we see. So me going into my own world is a comfort, and it's a source of like a healing type thing, and it also is a source for me to find some peace and to find some sort of comfort and calmness, and to help me vent a lot. So, which I think is very, very, very important for any person with autism, just to have that gift, to know that they are mentally going somewhere where they feel safe and where they feel really, really happy and feel really, really calm and collected. And I think that's a really good thing about going into my own world. Well guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up if you guys liked it. Also in the comments below, let me know about some other things you want me to talk about in the insight videos. And also, if you could picture your own world, what would be included in your own world and why? I look forward to reading and replying to your responses below. And finally, as always, if you guys like my videos and want to see more videos from me in the future, go ahead and give this channel a subscribe. Well guys, that's it for now. Until next time.